All right, let's call this meeting of the Norwich Ad Hoc Tennis Committee together, call it to order. And we're supposed to start with citizens' comments, if there's anybody listening. Are there any citizens' comments?
No, I don't see anyone trying to join,
Okay,
emailing me.
all right, sounds good.
Okay, thanks. That was a good meeting.
Wow.
But this meeting will be posted on the city website regardless, so.
Yeah.
All right.
Is the recording posted on the website?
Yes, the whole meeting recording.
How was it that we got video and a Zoom thing? You must have some special pull.
No one else was using it tonight, so
Wow.
the IT director had an extra. Yeah.
All right, did you guys have a chance to review the old business meeting minutes? Rather?
I did.
All right. Any questions or comments about them?
Not from me.
Nope.
Anybody want to,
Make a motion to approve them.
anybody want to second that motion?
Sure.
Can I second it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You wrote them up, absolutely.
That's what I wondered if I could. Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think you still have to do minutes, Martha, but the recording will be there for the public.
I'm writing. Yep.
Okay.
So all approve the minutes?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? Okay.
No, okay, good. All right, so we have some new business. Tell me what's going on here, Cheryl, as far as fundraising.
Okay, so since we last met in March, I have sent out the packet. You might have all gotten it. I don't know how good you can see it, but that had all the squares with the sponsorships options. So we sent out 2 options to the different businesses and individuals in Norwich. So we emailed it out. Probably all this happened in September, October. We emailed it out to over 350 businesses in Norwich. And then we mailed it out about 2 weeks after that. And so far, we designated within this list of businesses in Norwich, those that got the big dollar, asking for 300, 400,000. And then the other part of the list got the sponsorship asking for up to 5,000. It started like $100 and up. So we sent out both of those via mail and email, and we brought in $1,000 and $1,075 as of right now. And that in addition to the 100,000 that we got from the city council as of July 1st, we had that money secured. So the fundraising, I guess I can go out on a limb and say it's going a little slow, but maybe you guys can chime in on that. The next part of my phase was to then have the committee go through and divvy up the list and make the phone calls. I find that's the most effective. Maybe at some point we can talk about that tonight, who's comfortable doing that. And that's the next phase, in my opinion, but obviously that's up for discussion.
So, can you bring us up to speed, and you too, Roy, if possible, about where we are with NFA's participation in this? Or potential for participation?
Yeah, well, I think initially we were hoping that the foundation could be a part of this, but we've learned that I'm not sure exactly what their doctrine or whatever, their orders of organization don't allow them to participate like I had expected. So there hasn't been a whole lot of discussion about fundraising or fundraising for tennis or any project really, because a lot of our fundraising activities have been put on hold because of the COVID crisis and concern for, not only our students, but, the community at large. So we really haven't done a lot of fundraising, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So when you say it's against the foundation's doctrine or whatever, does that mean they can't participate at all?
I think what we were hoping they could do is help run and participate in the campaign.
Right,
The best
that-
of my recollection, the sticking point has to be, or that I think the foundation's basically going to raise money or will raise money or participate in fundraising for endeavors that I believe it's specific to NFA students. And because this is more community and we do play some role in acquiring funds for, or at least the tennis court use would be somewhat for NFA students. It's not 100%. And I think that really was the sticking point. I haven't had a chance to follow up with any alternative plans. As you know, we had a transition in leadership, but that doesn't necessarily change the leadership and role of the foundation. We just might have to be a little more creative, like I said. And so, we really haven't done a whole lot of fundraising for athletics or, campus-wide outside of our alumni fundraising.
Do you see that changing in the future?
Well, I don't see the alumni's participation changing a great deal, but I know that in speaking to John Iovino, he had some ideas, I guess, to maybe not necessarily get around that, but to help the cause, because I know he's highly interested as I am in working towards raising some funds for this initiative.
Do the three of us need to sit down then and brainstorm that on a higher level, or what? Not that I think that NFA should take complete control of any of this or have to take complete control, but if they can participate, I think it would speed the process along. I think that's pretty obvious.
It might help us to sit with John and see what he was thinking, because he and I, although we do work at the same place, we just have not had any meetings specific to the tennis committee.
Okay. Do you want to give him a call, or do you want me to give him a call?
I can give him a call,
Okay.
and we could try to get together and see what he has in mind.
So you got my email. Let me give you my phone number. You got a pen there?
Let me just go to my contacts and I can start that. Go ahead.
860.
That's a recording.
you probably don't want to put it on recording.
860, and that's all I'm giving out. That's a good point. I forgot we're recording.
Send me an email with your number.
Okay, good point. Thank you, Martha. That's why we hired you to do all this stuff, important stuff. Okay, so you're looking then, Cheryl, to send us
Yeah,
the people who you think would be, or the businesses you think it would be most lucrative for us to approach? Is that the next step?
I think so. Yes, that's what I found success with. And, maybe certain people at these businesses, or we can just give everybody 20 names, or you can look through and pick who and it, usually that's the personal touch. I did hear back from one or two people about the letter, and they said, well, usually we like to sit down with you over coffee when you're asking for big money. It's more of a conversation, and not just, something in the mail that says, give me 300,000. So
I don't see what people's problem is with it.
No,
Well,
no,
that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I'd sit down with anybody anytime to make those
Yeah.
discussions.
so yeah, I could give the whole list out and you guys could pick, or I could just say the top, here's 10, 20 for you, Fred. Here's, however you guys think it's best.
I think we should pick, because people have different people that they know. Is it against the rules for the committee to get together? You wouldn't have to be a part of it to do our picking and choosing, or do we have to do that in the public setting too?
Can you set that up as a Google Doc and we could probably elect to, you know, because it's a shared doc, we could probably elect to go to?
Yeah,
That's good to me.
Okay.
all right. Put it in, it's right now a Word doc, an Excel doc, but I could put it in Google.
It's a good idea.
And then you can highlight who you want kind of thing, right?
Yep.
Okay,
You know, with the list of a business and then maybe next to it, just, you know, another slot for, you know, a spreadsheet of sort to just kind of type our name in, whoever we're going to contact them.
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's a pretty good spreadsheet, name, address, city, state, phone, email, and the contact name. So then I'll just add another column, who's it assigned to.
Yeah, and that way there, we're not duplicating it. And once we sign up for it, we just follow through.
Okay,
When you mentioned a conversation over coffee, they don't usually give out a lot of money that way. Do you feel like those people, if you were to sit down and quote, have coffee, were inclined to give?
yes.
So how could we do that?
What's
Well,
that?
it could be a phone call, you know, hey, are you interested? We're trying to do a fundraiser, I'd like to talk to you about it.
Okay, so that would suffice. I mean, we don't have to, those people who said we don't do it, that to chat.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, we can come up with a script that we all think is, you know, if this isn't our thing, I can come up with a brief script and then you can add on. Or if you're comfortable, you know, I don't have to control it like that, but
Maybe a starter. I mean, I
Yeah.
feel comfortable either way, but I think we all have a starter script or
yeah,
something
It's a
with
really
some
good
bullet
point.
that we all cover.
Just to
Okay.
make sure we're all, I mean, I know we're all on the same page, but we're all giving out the same information.
okay, I can work on that. Okay, so that's where we are with the fundraising.
Can I interject something here for a second?
Sure.
I had a brief conversation with a contact friend of mine who was involved with the community block development grant approval process. And we had talked about that prior, that supposedly the courts were not in an area that would be conducive to that type of grant being allocated, just because of the area and the borders. He told me that a few years back, they actually did allocate some money for the rec department building for a railing or something like that. He said, if we did it across the street, he said, I'm not sure why it wouldn't be in that boundary. So I called the block development people today, and she either called me back and I didn't get the call, or she didn't call me back because it wasn't the same phone number. But I will call them again tomorrow to find out about that. My contact's position was, he said, you know, we're not going to take all of our money and give it to tennis courts. He said, but if you could show that you had one tennis court or two and you needed an only partial payment for another one, he said we could possibly donate, you know, some monies to be able to complete the project. So that was actually kind of encouraging. Not that I know it's going to pan out, but at least it's another contact point.
It seems like everybody's going to be willing to give once we get money. So it's like getting that original amount so that you can get more.
Yeah,
Well, we've got 100,000 supposedly from the city, and I guess
Mhm.
that's earmarked, and it's supposed to stay there, right? It's not supposed to
Yep.
change.
correct.
So I mean, it's a start. I think from my personal standpoint, I don't want to get off topic here, but a lot of it depends on, you know, what kind of courts we're going to get. Do we want to do asphalt, or do we want to do the post-tension concrete? And I mean, that's kind of maybe the next topic to talk about here. Maybe off the agenda a little bit, but
No, it's kind of on the agenda, but
what you on the agenda, you've got listed budget update. What is that?
yeah,
Essentially the same?
that was pretty much, yeah, what we had in the budget for tennis, the
Okay.
100 plus 1,000.
I talked to Tom Hinding of Hinding Tennis Courts a ways back, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and he gave us gave me a quote, an estimate anyways, for post-tension between 300 to 350, and for 4 asphalt courts for 200 to 250. I'm not sure they give the same guarantee of 25 years on their courts. I think their guarantee was 20 years on the post-tension. He seemed very knowledgeable to me, and I haven't followed up with him. Mostly again because of COVID. Some of these guys I called, what is it, Island and Cape Tennis, and they're the people who East Lyme used for their court.
Yeah, Cape and Island does,
Cape and
it's more
Island.
than to pay for our track. Yeah.
And they were pretty expensive for the 4 courts. I think they quoted me at 600,000 for the post tension. So that I kind of hadn't really called them back at all. You use them for your track?
Yeah, they redid our track this, well, the last couple times we did it. So
I talked to the director at East Lyme. He was very happy with the courts. He said they did a great job, but it also seems rather expensive.
well, they're 50% more, so I'm not sure that's something we want.
They won't be my first choice. I can say that.
So these are all for 4 courts.
Yes, these quotes are all for 4 courts.
Okay.
Some of the issue with, and I think we may have talked about this at the last meeting, I don't remember, but some of the issue with the cost is whether it's done for a private individual as an entity like it would be for NFA versus done for a municipality. Because for municipalities, you have to have a certain wage estimate that's included, I'm assuming because of union involvement. And so those quotes tend to be significantly higher than, say, if it were a private entity, if NFA were to do it. That's where that differential in that quote came from Classic Turf from 2014.
So you have to pay to scale, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there's a pay scale that's done. I think it's a state mandate for municipal construction projects.
Correct. It can be anywhere 25 to 40% higher just for the wage rate. It's called the Bacon Davis wage.
That's it. I forgot what the term
Yep.
was.
And so
What did you say it was?
the Bacon Davis wage rate.
Bacon Davis. Okay.
So I found other projects. I made the mistake. That's why I learned you have to add at least 30%.
Fred, what did you say about Classic Turf?
That was the differential in their 2014 versus their 2019 quote or 2020 quote. I think they originally came in at, what was it, 250 maybe for the 6 courts, and then it went up to 400 for the
Okay.
4 courts, because the original quote was for NFA as
Oh,
the
I see.
entity who would be doing it.
Okay. Okay. So it looks like we probably wouldn't have a choice as to what kind of courts we're going for.
Well, I think we have a choice. I mean, if we can't raise the money, asphalt might be the only way to go. But the problem there is the cracking.
So in the long, I mean, I guess I'm thinking about when we're talking to people and pitching this, we're going to say, well, if we have enough money, we'll do this. If we don't, we'll do this. And the reason that we wouldn't want to do this right off is because they crack, and the maintenance over the years will add up to the difference between the two.
It does.
Okay.
It does. I was talking to this guy Hindi, and he said the asphalt courts can crack within 2 to 3 years. So I mean, it would be nice if we can do post tension. I don't know how you folks feel about that, but it seems like it's penny wise and pound foolish. And I'm speaking for that only. You're not going to want to hear this, Cheryl, but I played on the courts yesterday at Stanton. The cracks are already coming through.
Ugh, I know.
Yeah. So that's another thing to talk about here in a minute, I think.
Yeah, when you patch, we patch Stanton, and you're never going to have brand new courts when you patch them.
I realize that, but I talked, here we are off topic again a little bit, but I talked to who did you have do that? Pro Painters?
Yes.
And I happened to stop by where they were doing. I talked to the guy, and he said, if you treat the courts correctly and I don't say repatch them, but there's a process that I think he told one of your guys, I think your head guy for your maintenance.
Yeah.
Is if you do that, the cracks won't get bigger. I don't know what that process was, because he didn't cover it with me, but I think he covered it with one of your maintenance guys. And of course, here we are about to have a snowstorm in a couple days, so I'm not sure anything can be done about it, but
Yeah.
When did those get patched?
August? July?
Yeah.
August? Yeah, nice job.
July.
Was it July? It came out nice.
Yeah.
People have been using them.
They get a lot of use, yeah.
Yeah.
I drive by there every day.
I played with Paul's son yesterday. Paul didn't want to come out. He was too busy.
It's something else to do.
Well, watch the Giants.
No, I was playing golf.
How are the pickleball lines, Fred?
Well, when it rains, there aren't any pickleball lines.
Okay.
Are there pickleball lines on it?
Well, we had to put up a sign that says chalk only because apparently as they were, the day after they had patched them, the guys went back and looked at it and some lady was painting the lines with nail polish.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Oh, goodness is right. So I had to put up a sign saying no nail polish, chalk only.
Yeah.
Is there that much pickleball going on?
Well, there's apparently enough to buy a lot of nail polish. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a lot of nail polish.
Pretty popular right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So will you talk to your maintenance guys about, I don't know if there's a patch process or like a crack sealer thing or something?
Yes, we're aware. He left us some of the excess material too. I'll talk to the guys tomorrow. They went through it all with them and how to do it,
Okay,
seal it.
that would be great.
I can't recall if you do it in the spring or we were supposed to do it. Yeah, I'll ask, but yes, I remember that. I mean, other courts that we've had asphalt done, basketball courts, they can crack in 2 years, but most have lasted 15 to 20 years for us before the cracks start. So as long as you do the surface properly, hire the right company, and lay the groundwork underneath, you're going to get more than, it can happen in 2 to 3 years, but that's kind of rare for brand new courts, but definitely not the lifespan of the post-tension concrete. Just for more area.
So you had a number 5 on there, the tennis court design. What was that referring
Well,
to?
that was at the end of the last meeting in the minutes, the action items, I brought some of those items also tonight. So part of those items were you need a design engineer to design it before you can even go out to bid. So I had a company come out, an engineering company come out. Their quote was quite high. And simultaneously, I had public works engineers coming out. So they put together the site plan for me. We dug test pits today, actually, to check the subsurface beneath the clay to make sure there wasn't any concrete blocks or how rocky it was. So in 4 to 8 places around the courts, they dug the test pits and it came out really well. There wasn't anything underneath that we found in the drilling. So I'm going to have the public works crew create the site plan, which will be free versus the other quote I received.
Was that quote from the guy, Bill Anaskovich? The number I gave you? Out of
No,
downstate?
I didn't end up using him. We had another engineering firm that the department had used before. So I had them give me the quote. It was about $18,000.
Oh,
wow. So Public Works, which is their engineer also, and they had time this winter to do it. They get slower with their projects in the winter. So this is when they have time to create the site plans.
Are you comfortable with them doing that?
Yes, I am. So he gave me a cost estimate last week for asphalt but then now digging today, the test pits, it'll probably be a little bit cheaper. So I can send this to everybody too, but for asphalt, he's coming around 225 to 250,000 to do, to do the 4 courts. And that's the nets, the new poles, everything.
Who is this company?
JP from Public Works. You need this before I can even go out to bid. I know the committee, we kind of got quotes, estimates but I can't go out for an official bid without like a whole site plan, everything drawn out, how many inches of this, how many inches of asphalt, the type of asphalt. So Public Works put this together for me. They've done 2 or 3 other projects for me. So I can share that with the committee. So this, I mostly did get that USTA grant. I can't get the USTA grant without a site plan,
Gotcha.
without this, something from an engineer signed off.
Yeah.
So so I had to get this done. And then I also, go ahead.
Part of the site plan, interrupt you. You had mentioned the parking lot might have to come into it too.
So yeah, what I decided to do was put the whole project into 3 phases. So first phase would be the 4 courts. If we had the funding, even more courts would be phase 1. But the phase 1 would be the courts. Phase 2 would be the parking lot with curbing, and you have to make a handicap walkway and guardrails around that parking lot because people park everywhere there. And then phase 3 would be converting the lights to LED.
The lights for the lot or the lights for the tennis court?
Right now, just the tennis courts. The lot doesn't have, I don't think the lot has lights.
Okay, so you're talking about,
But that's
So-
not, to get lights on the lot, but I think that would come later with our funding.
so the site plan includes phase 1.
Just phase 1 I got at this point.
Okay.
But I did get a quote. I didn't get JP yet to give me the site plan for the parking lot, but I did get a quote from a company for an asphalt for that parking lot. And that would be, let's see. I want to say, geez, it's over 100,000 to pave that parking lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, just about 100,000. So that's just for info for us. If we accomplish phase 1, then we move into phase 2. That's the more money we need to fundraise. And then phase 3, I haven't gotten a quote from NPU yet. And I called Musco Lighting. They are actively getting me a quote for replacing all the bulbs there, the halide bulbs to LED for the tennis courts. So that would be great.
What was the name of the place?
Musco Lighting's getting me a quote right now.
MUSCO?
Yes,
Okay.
they did the thing. Fontaine Field, they put the lights in there for us. They also did the baseball stadium, Fred.
Yeah, they also did our lights on our turf field as well.
They did, yeah. And the sports of, Fred, were you involved with them at the stadium, the lighting project there?
Well, to a very small degree. Gary Schnipp was involved mostly with that.
Okay.
So,
that's a little more info for you of what I've been working on. And then the last thing I worked on from the last action items is, did you want me to, and maybe you can see this. Remember I was going to put a banner up
Yeah.
with the fundraising levels?
Yes.
So this was like $100 banner I could put up outside my office on Depina backstop, we were thinking. But with the pandemic, we kind of froze everything.
You said that wouldn't be on the tennis courts?
We could put it there too. What do you guys think?
think it would be probably better on Depina Field because more people are going to drive by and see that. I think.
If they
with the-
get anybody see it at the tennis courts, then
Yeah, 'cause
nobody's
it-
using the tennis courts.
Yeah, they sit back. I'm not sure anybody would really even look at that. You're going to get a lot more visual exposure on the corner there.
I think
Yeah,
so.
if you're on the backstop of that softball field, it's probably
Yeah.
closer to the road.
Yep.
Is it now is the time to put it up, or do we want to put it up when we're actually making progress? I mean, if you see a sign and it never moves, you get,
It's like that project's going nowhere. Yeah, that's,
right.
I'd say wait a little while, maybe, Cheryl. That'd be my opinion.
All right. Well, we can fill in up to 100,000 because they don't need to know how we got that money, right?
That's true. That's true.
True enough.
Yeah. But I can
Make it
order,
101,000.
what's that, Paul?
100.
Make it 101,000.
I got 102. Paul's going to give 1,000 next week, I heard.
Yeah.
So those are my other updates from the last meeting.
You've been busy.
Trying. So what do you guys think? Do you want to go asphalt or post-tension?
Post.
I'm for post, I'm afraid. I know you don't like that. I know you want to get the project done. I think a lot of it sort of depends on what can we get together. If we can't get the money together, we may be stuck. The other part of-
100,000 more, right?
Well,
About,
I guess. You said your quote from the city was 200? I would,
For asphalt, he didn't quote me post-tension.
yeah, I know, but that's not really not a tennis company that's putting them in. I would have thought that we would be going with a company specifically that installs tennis courts.
No, we would go with a
well, we
company.
might be.
Tennis. You can put that right in the bid that you have to have so many years experience installing tennis
Okay.
courts. I'd prefer that than just like a random company.
Yeah, no, I don't think we should do that.
But I mean, when you talked about the original estimate from Hindi, it was 3 to 350 for post tension and 2 to 250 for asphalt.
Asphalt.
So,
I've got that written down right here. Yeah.
so it's about, and this, once we determine everything and get the money, then it goes out to bid.
Correct.
And we have to take the lowest, but do we have to take a non-tennis company who's lowest, or do we just send it to do you know what I'm saying? I mean, would somebody bid on it that's not a tennis company, we'd have to take them over a tennis company?
I don't.
Because they're lower.
Into the bid.
Not if they
Right,
write it into the specs that it has to be a tennis court company. Right? Part of the bid process, they've got to be a legitimate licensed tennis court installer or landscape company.
Can we say that when we put it
Yeah.
out to bid?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We can.
We can, okay. Okay.
Do we know who put in the courts at the technical school? Fred?
I do not.
I don't either.
I can call Tim DeLucia, their AD. He might know.
Because they might be willing to give us a break on putting in 4 more tennis courts. They've got pretty much to have the whole community or give them a nice thing to talk about or put on their website that they did the city of Norwich's tennis courts. So we should probably find out who did those courts because they're in good shape. They've been there for, I would say 5 or 6 years at least.
Yeah, as long as they've renovated the tech school. So it's been
Right.
all of that, I'm sure. That's more than I can say for their field, their grass field.
Yeah.
Oh.
But getting quotes, isn't that a moot point if we have to put it out to bid? I mean, the quotes are only giving us an idea. It's,
Correct.
True. But they could bid on it.
right.
When you put it out to bid, Cheryl, do you put it out to bids to specific corporate companies or just as a free bid or an open bid?
Anyone can, it's open in the sense that anyone can apply for it.
Okay.
So
But
the
you-
committee, we might want to call tennis people and say, we're doing this, you might want to bid on it.
It
Or
it
do
wouldn't
they
hurt for me to check
keep
in with
track of
North
stuff
Tech
like that?
either.
What's that, Roy?
I said, I don't think it'd hurt for me to check in with Norwich Tech,
I
so,
don't know.
and so that way there, we can kind of not necessarily hope that those folks bid, but we might be able to give them a heads up of some sort, perhaps at least put a bid in.
They may even be able to help us in the process.
Okay.
Of course, it was a state project. It was probably overbid.
Yeah.
But
All right, so you guys are more in favor of post-tension, which probably means another year or so of fundraising. We
Well,
could probably get pretty close to the 250 for this summer. But
let's,
if we're going post-tension, now we're pushing another year
Can we-
at least.
can we try to make an effort, and I'll make the effort I want. I'll call Hinding again because they gave me a quote on asphalt, but I'm pretty sure that they can cut those courts with joints so that they will move a little bit. And I'll find out exactly what kind of guarantee they give on their asphalt courts, what their process is with that. I'm not against asphalt. I hate to have us put it in and 10 years later have cracks in it because it's when it, in fact, potentially we could go twice as long without them. There aren't too many surfaces where the cracks really come into play like they do in tennis. I mean, basketball, you can play on a cracked basketball court. It's not fun, but you can do it. But tennis, you can't really do it. It completely changes the outcome of the game, or can change the outcome of the game.
I hate to admit this, but can you tell me what post-tension is?
I'm gonna let Cheryl explain it because she has more experience than me. Go ahead.
It's obviously concrete versus asphalt. So concrete lasts longer just by nature of the material. And then with this post-tension concrete, it's not actually poured. I'm going to go real simple here. Like a driveway, you pour it right onto the dirt.
Yep.
Surface. With post-tension, you're pouring it. There's all these rods and help me someone.
Rods and rebar, but they're actually tight. They can tighten them on either end. So as the concrete cures and shrinks down, they can change the tension on the undersurface, the underlayment of the concrete, so that it sucks in and stays tight, so it doesn't expand and contract.
Yeah. So the post-tension concrete, in theory, you could take a helicopter and pick the whole slab up if you had something strong enough. So it's not sitting like in the earth, where that's where the rain then freezes and thaws. That's what creates cracks. The water gets underneath. So because it's one big slab and all these things are pulled, it won't crack as easily, and it lasts sometimes say 100 years, but they don't warranty that. That's the basics, Fred?
That's why I had you start that, Cheryl. I just fill in the blanks.
I'll Google it.
Has our timeline changed much because of COVID? I mean, we were really out for 8-9 months here. I think we were put together as a committee for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's
Did
correct.
the timeline changed because of this?
We can ask for an extension on the committee. That's not a problem. The city council puts the timelines now so that if a committee is done, there's an end date, but if there's an extension needed, you can just ask for it if the work's not completed. So
Should we give ourselves a deadline to make a decision? Like, should we say, we're going for two different, how we could keep going and going and going and trying to fundraise? Should we give ourselves a timeline or a money line that at this point we're going to make a decision?
I like that idea, but I'm also a little uncomfortable with it only from the standpoint of how, if you put us under the gun that way, how do you know that somebody else down the road may be thinking about a donation and we have to push them a little bit? I wouldn't want to put that limitation on us if we don't have to. I wonder about being, for the lack of a better term, a little more common sense wise. If we find that we're just not getting anywhere at all, I think that we'll have to just, you'll fish or cut bait sort of thing.
Yeah.
And we can evaluate where we're at any point in time, I imagine, right?
Absolutely.
If we're shooting for this post-tension concrete stuff, we just keep at it, and then we just, like you said, we might end up having to discuss whether or not we're cutting bait or not, and going with that.
Yeah, I like that idea, Martha. I like being able to have an end date. It makes it, concrete, so to speak. No pun intended. But I'm not sure that with fundraising, I hate to limit us if we don't have to.
Yeah, there's a reality to it too. We're not going to get past this pandemic probably until at least summer, maybe
Yeah.
even into the fall.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul.
And money is tight. Certainly municipalities and local governments are really going to have a hard time. They're going to be struggling meeting budgets. So businesses are closing. It's going to be a struggle, I think, for fundraising here for the next 6-8 months.
A lot of uncertainty.
A lot of uncertainty.
I hate to say it, Cheryl, but I don't see this happening in the summertime.
Okay.
I'd love it to, but I
No,
just don't.
no. Most fundraisers are giving to COVID causes right now. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have to just stay positive and keep working it. And we'll get past this, get past the pandemic, and there's a brighter future coming. So I think we just need to stick with it.
Vaccinations started today.
Yes,
heard
absolutely.
that. So, all right, that's all I have.
Okay,
Yeah.
we move to adjourn.
So the next meeting is a month from now.
Yep, I have here January 11th.
Yep, we
I
sent
sent
out a
everybody
schedule.
Yep, January 11th you sent.
Okay, and when you all get the minutes, the draft of the minutes, you'll know what the action items are, because some people are doing different things. Right?
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, I'll send out the Google Doc to all, and then you guys can pick your companies.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right,
Good to see everybody.
make a move to adjourn the meeting.
You made a move?
Yes, I'll make that move this time.
I'll second.
All right, sounds good.
Roy, all in favor?
Aye. Sounds good, you guys.
All right.
Thanks,
Take
Fred.
All right, bye,
See you next
everyone.
time. All right. See you.
Have a
Bye.
good week.
Okay. Paul, thank you.